Welcome to the Lupe Fuentes experience, Latino gang, stand up. In this week's show, I have the pleasure to chat with Clayton Cardenas, a lead actor in the badass biker drama Mayans. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hey Clayton.
Hey, how's it going?
So good, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for making the show.
Thank you for having me.
By the way, that's a new look.
The hair?
Yes.
Yeah, nobody knows. I did this. We have we're doing a Mayans MC. We're on Family Feud this Saturday. So I haven't told anybody I dyed my hair. So I'm just gonna show up to the set with red hair.
That's so cool. I love it. But did you dye it for the show, or you dye it just because you love to change?
I just dyed it. I don't know. I just wanted to change. I was so like, I don't know. It was this weird thing when I was just so wrapped up in the character on Mayans. I just needed something because we're done filming now. I just needed something to like remind me I'm not that person. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's actually a question that I have for you. Is Clayton Cardenas very different from Angel?
I think there's like, I think in any acting job that you do and that person that you're portraying is a piece of you just accentuated. So I think there's pieces of Angel that me, myself, Clayton is very much like. I'm very, I lead with my emotions. I'm very passionate, impulsive. So I think all those really get to play with Angel a lot. So I mean, I think Angel's really cool on TV. I think he's a lot cooler than me than I am in real life. So that's probably as close as similar as it gets.
What about the bikes? I love the bikes. I think it's such a hot element of the show. And did you ride bikes before the show?
I didn't. I had started when I was younger. My family and I, we rode dirt bikes and how do you say, quads? You know what quads are?
Yes.
Four wheelers. We would ride those out in the sand dunes in Arizona and Southern California. So I knew how to ride those. But a Harley bike, that's a whole other get down.
What's different?
They're almost 1,000. Oh man, they're almost 1,000 pounds. First
You're
of all,
kidding me.
Of the bike, it's insane. The weight of the bike alone is it's intimidating. Like it's very intimidating, especially the sound of it is intimidating. And so even to turn the bike was a challenge. It takes a lot of weight distribution. But no, a lot of us didn't ride. I think like one or two guys on the cast had ridden bikes before, but a lot of us did not. And there was a lot of crashing, and there was a lot of falling down.
Yes. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! So did the bike fell on you at some point?
Not on me, but there was a time where, and it's on video somewhere. Somebody has this somewhere on video, and it shows me, and I'm having trouble starting the bike, and all of a sudden I start the bike. And I excel, and I'm driving straight into a big ass semi truck, and at the last second, I veer off to the right, and the camera touched the people that were watching me. Everybody was just deathly fucking afraid that I was gonna kill myself.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that was the time. That was an experience for me.
So, do you love bikes now?
Well, I love them now. Now, when I first used to hear the sound of bikes, it used to annoy the shit out of me. Hearing that roar, and that was so annoying to me. But now I love it. I love riding. I have a bike.
What bike do you have?
I have one that's very similar to the one I have on the show. It's a Harley Road King, and very similar. The color is different, but the ape hangers are the same. The big ass handlebars, and it's very similar. And I love riding. I love riding, like especially along the coast, and down Whittier, but like for Latinos, it's really dope, especially if you're from Southern Cali. Like everybody knows about Whittier Boulevard, and so every Sunday you go ride and you go show off your bike and show off your car. What kind of car you got? A low rider, or what do they call? They call them bombs out here. So yeah, you kind of just strutting your stuff out here.
So being having Latino background, being Latino, have you always been into like low rider culture?
I was early on. I was fascinated by it, and I looked up to it. I looked up to like to the homies that like were all into that. And then I think like in my teens, I kind of got out of it. I don't know why. I don't know why I did. I think I was just more interested in other things.
What were you interested in growing up?
I was really into sports.
Really?
I was really into sports. I played football in college. I played all the sports in high school.
What position? What position in college?
I played tight end.
Okay.
Yeah, I played tight end. And, I played. I went to the University of New Mexico, and I played out there. But you know, I wasn't built to play sports. I remember my first day at practice at New Mexico. I remember the very first day, the very first practice, I got hit so fucking hard. I remember the very first play, and I remember I was like, I don't think I want to play football anymore. Like, it was,
it's dangerous.
Like, it's dangerous. You could really get hurt out here. And I remember, I knew I was in trouble because I was like, wow, this is the first day, and I'm already feeling like this. I knew right then. I was like, I'm not ready for this game. It's a different mentality, you know, sports and like, you know, especially contact sports, it's a whole fucking like way of thinking. It's I wasn't prepared for it, you know? I wasn't really into it.
So how did you get into acting? I'm so curious.
Man, that was a trip. I you know, after I think a lot of athletes go through this, especially college athletes, like especially if you're not good enough to go play professionally. I think once your career ends, you're kind of in this limbo because, you know, your whole life you have prepared to play this one sport. You sacrificed everything. You gave everything to this fucking sport, to these coaches, to your teammates. And then, you know, if you don't go pro, it's like, what do you do now? You don't have any, I wasn't training to do any other type of job. So I think a lot of athletes go through what I went through. And there was just like 2 or 3 years of I was just drinking heavy and I was doing a lot of drugs.
Really soul searching in your own way.
For sure. Oh yeah, that's a better way to put it. For sure I was. And I was trying a bunch of different things and you know, I was hanging around a group that wasn't good for me and I was just at this really low point. And this funny thing happened. I was at this bar and one of my homegirls, she was a bartender there and I was literally passed out on the bar. She's like, hey, I want you to come with me tonight. She's like, I'm about to get off in an hour. I want you to come with me. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm thinking we're going to go hang out at the house.
Of course.
And of course, right? Of course. That's the only reason why I'm speaking. That's the only reason why I'm going with you right now. I thought that's where we're fucking headed right now. But we ended up driving all the way from Santa Monica to Hollywood. And I remember she's taking me up these stairs, and I'm realizing, like, oh, this is not her fucking house. I'm going into some building, and it was this acting studio.
Wow.
And so I follow her into this acting studio. I'm like, fuck, I'm already here. I might as well just sit and see what this is. And I remember clearly, I remember watching people, because people were doing scenes. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with acting studios, but you know, people do scenes, and then you walk to the next person, they do a scene, and the coach critiques them and whatnot. But I remember watching these people do these scenes, and I remember them like emoting, crying and shit, or yelling, and being very emotional. And I remember these people would do the scene, and then their classmates would clap for them. They were clapping for their emotion. They were clapping. They were first of all, they weren't laughing.
Wow. Yes.
And that was big for me. That was a huge thing. I was like, wow, these people are emoting freely, and they're not being condemned.
Judgmental. Yeah, the people are not judging them.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, I've been looking for something like that my whole fucking life.
Yes.
I was like, I looked for that. And so finally I realized I'm around these people who wouldn't make fun of me. And that was huge.
Especially coming from a Latino background, right? Because we don't have those.
Machismo.
Yes, we don't see that.
Yeah, don't show emotion, don't cry.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing? Toughen up, be a man. You hear that shit all the time. And that's a toxic environment.
Yes.
I realized as I got older. You know what I mean? So that was it. I started acting in 2010. I booked my first big job, which was it's a show called American Crime. It was on ABC.
Uh-huh.
And I was a recurring guest star, and that started my fucking career. It started my career, and then right after that, I got into mine, and that was it. I've been on fire ever since.
Wow, I mean that it's been such an amazing journey of yours, and to see grow step by step with every role is so amazing. How do you approach a role when you first get it, to get into that character? How do you work?
The first thing I do is first of all, I read the script so many times. I read it until it becomes for me, I know every word I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then character, I started looking for similarities with Clayton and the character.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, that's similar. Oh, I know that. I understand that.
So you tap in like parts of your life that you can remember, memories.
For sure. Oh yeah. And I bank on that. I'm like, and I count on myself. I'm like, I've lived enough life to where I can understand what that character's going through, or something like it. Like it doesn't have to be necessarily the exact thing that character's going through, but have I lived through a feeling in my life that's similar to what this character's trying to portray? And honestly, like I've lived enough life where I'm like, yeah, I could understand that. So I try to make the character as real as possible to me in my head. And then once I'm able to do that, I get very comfortable. And then after that, after I get that down in the character, I started looking at the physical attributes of this character and things like that, or how the voice sounds, voice dictation, all those kinds of things.
For Mayans, especially the last season, you got so ripped, like. So tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, what happened, like, so at the end of season 2, the show creator, he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, bro, like, you're gonna be doing a lot of sex scenes this year."
You're like, kidding? He said that?
Oh, he told me. He's like, and like network people, they can't tell you like, hey, you need to get in shape. Like that's a fucking HR disaster.
Really?
Right? Like,
I have no idea.
They can say that. They can say it in like so many ways.
So they have to be like super politically correct.
Very politically correct. Yeah. So they say things like, hey, you're going to be on camera naked a lot. So,
Yay.
So it's like they're kind of saying like, yeah, you want to be in shape, dude. So in so many ways, they kind of told me that was going to be happening a lot. Like I was just going to be naked a lot, and I'm totally comfortable being naked. But they wanted to like what they saw. So I got a trainer, and thankfully the pandemic timing like gave me even more time to get in shape, and we hit it hard. Like I started working out 3 times a day.
3 times.
Oh my God, yes. Cardio in the morning. I have a like a Peloton type of bike, and so the goal was to do what we did. We did like a 60 minutes fasted cardio with the sauna suit on, and then and then you go stretch, and then we go lift weights midday, and then at night, like around 8 or 9 p.m., like after your last meal, you do cardio again for an hour. So I was fucking doing this 5-6 days a week, killing myself.
God, exactly. But do you feel like super tired from this?
I feel extremely tired, Lupe. Are you serious? Oh my God, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like on top of acting and doing all your work, and then having to like change your body drastically like this is incredible. That was the hardest part, And it's like, people look at actors and they think like, oh, you guys have such a good life and easy life. Like little do they know, like all the like shit like that we do to get ready for these roles. But I can't complain, like they pay me money and they feed me. Like I'm doing fine. Yeah, you're living the dream. I mean,
I'm living
definitely.
The fucking dream. It's a trip.
An amazing. Yes, it's a trip. I mean, how is it from going from being a regular person to being somebody so recognizable in LA? How is that experience?
Yeah. It's I forget sometimes, and I know that sounds corny and cheesy, but literally I forget that I'm on TV sometimes, and there'll be times where like, and I've had to get over this, but like there'll be times where like some dude will just be staring at me.
And you're like, what's wrong with you? What the fuck?
Yeah, we got a problem? Like, what's good? And like, I have to remember, like, no, he recognizes me, like, from TV. And I'm like, oh, I have to like check myself. And one of my co-stars, he taught me this lesson, because I asked him about this. I was like, how do you know if you're getting hit up, or how do you know if somebody recognizes you? Like, how do you know? And he told me, his name is Emilio Rivera. He told me, like, hey, homie, smile, regardless. If you think they're trying to fight you, or you think they're a fan, you can never go wrong with smiling at a person.
What do you think could be good tips to give up-and-coming Latino actors in Hollywood?
First of all, I say, watch your favorite actors.
Mm-hmm.
Study your favorite actors.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how they attack the scene.
Uh-huh.
And this is what I do. I watch TV and film differently now. Like, I'll see a scene, I'll watch my favorite actor, and I'll see them doing dialogue, and then I'll see them, I'm watching TV screen. And then what I do is, like, I'll rewatch it again, and I'll imagine the words on the page that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see, like, the script.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, as I'm doing that, like, it makes it more real. So it's like I ask myself, okay, would I do the scene the same way? Would I absorb the information the same way?
Mm-hmm.
So what I tell actors, study your favorite actor. Read a lot of scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Read a lot of plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just reading a lot, it makes you understand, like, a lot of information. Also, there's these things that we get, if you're doing, like, a big season, say for mine, for instance, you get this thing called a one-liner, right? It's a breakdown of all this shit we're going to shoot for the next 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
So I could I'll look at the one-liner and I'll see, okay, I'll have a big scene in 2 weeks. I have a big monologue that's like 3 pages, and I'm going to start working on that now, Some people don't do that. Some people just, like, they show up on the day of shooting and they're like, oh shit, I have to do this. Like, no, you don't make it hard on yourself. So learn what a call sheet is. Learn what a one-liner is. Read a lot.
Be prepared, pretty much.
Be prepared, and you're surprised, like, how many people are not prepared.
Really, huh?
It's a trip. How many people don't know their lines, by the way? That's like that's the most
in Hollywood.
Fucking Hollywood. Some of your favorite actors, I guarantee you, do not know their lines, and they're getting paid a lot of money. They're getting paid.
So what do you do when an actor doesn't know a line? What do they do? They just
listen. I've learned to, like, there's a difference between an actor, like, is nervous and they forget a line,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very obvious when an actor just didn't even prepare. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't know, like, on our show, on mine, like, we will say something to you. We will make, I don't want to say make you not too welcome, but we'll make you feel like you should have been doing your work, because all of our guys, all of our cast are very prepared. Everybody knows their line. They probably know your lines too. That's how well prepared they are over there. So we just, like, we kind of give the person the stink eye, but and once we kind of give them that eye, it kind of, like, forces them to get their shit together.
Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah? Say something in Spanish for me.
¿Cómo te llamas, Lupe?
Pues me llamo Lupe Fuentes, cariño.
Lupe Fuentes? Sí.
So, now that we're talking about getting prepared and actors and Hollywood, who is somebody that you look up to in terms of acting and the career they have had?
I have a few favorite actors. I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fan. And I really love the roles that he chooses for himself. And, like, just the trajectory of his career has been very admirable to me. Mm-hmm. And he always puts himself in positions where he looks really good. Sometimes actors get put in positions where they don't want to be on the film. They do it for money or for a variety of reasons. But he always puts himself in a position to always win. I've also really become a fan of Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
You know who that is? Oh, man. I love this dude. Mm-hmm. Is so, he started with, in my opinion, they started with Twilight. He did all the Twilight films. But all the stuff he does now is so good. He has he has a wide range. And he's really good at, like, controlling his voice. Like, he's really good at doing a bunch of different accents. You go through the last films, he's been doing his acting for And I'm a big fan of Daniel Day-Lewis. This dude, he, in my opinion, he's able to transform into anything he wants, like Christian
Oh,
Bale too.
my
So
favorite. Uh-huh.
right,
Yes.
like that guy, like I mean, the way he transforms his body is insane.
The way he
You know,
even the way that he even looks in every movie is like completely different, which is
completely
like
different.
how he does that. It's
Yeah,
insane.
I remember. So there's that one film called The Machinist.
Yes,
That's where he got.
I saw that one.
And how skinny he was. That's fucking crazy.
I mean,
And then he did that
yes.
film where he was God, he was the vice president, Dick Cheney. I forgot the name of the film, but then he fucking gained. You know, he's 270, 280 pounds.
It's
insane.
It's crazy how actors
Yeah.
can do that with their body. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So a little question here for your female audience. What is the way to Clayton's heart?
Oh, feed me.
The food. What's your
Look.
favorite food?
I'm vegan, so
You are?
I am. Yeah, I've been
So
vegan
no
for-
tacos, no carnitas, no.
Well, we can do vegan tacos. Don't get crazy now. Right? Vegan, you can do vegan Mexican food. I do it all the time. But I'm also trying to transition to like gluten free too. So that makes everything a challenge.
So super healthy.
Because I love super. I love super clean. I do a lot of smoothies, a lot of salads. Probably I only stick to like 2 meals a day.
Yeah. So what's the way to Clayton's heart? Besides, okay, food.
Food is one.
Food is one.
I love brutal honesty. It's it sounds like obviously, but like sometimes being very honest is it can be mean, it can be abrupt, but I like it. I dig it. That's just cool. That type of raw honesty, I'm really attracted to.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself, I think that's always a standard. I feel like if I'm taking care of myself, I would like it to be reciprocated.
Yes.
And
it says a lot about the person, right? If they don't take care of themselves, it's like, okay, you don't love yourself, you don't appreciate what you have. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. I feel like that should be a standard. And just like I don't want to stress too much on the physicality, but like working out, taking care of yourself, eating right. I like people with good manners. That's a big thing for me.
Respectful, nice girls.
Yeah, you would be surprised, like how many people don't have good manners. Simply
Really
won't even say thank you. You're like, what the fuck? Just say thank you. Like that blows my mind. And
yes. Yeah.
And just being fucking kind. And you can tell a lot by a person, how they treat their waiter and staff and whatnot. So that's really big for me. It's a big turn off when they are rude or they feel like they're way better than you. I'm not down with that. 'Cause I used to be a waiter. I used to, I did all that shit. So I know the feeling. Oh my god.
So what about physically? What's your type?
I like, man, you're gonna get me in trouble. That's like the type that I don't describe. Everybody's gonna be like, okay, dick, you don't like.
I know, you're right.
I like,
This is a fun question, and you know what? Your female audience, they love you.
That's why
you have a really big female.
If I say something wrong, they're gonna hammer me, and they're gonna replay this video, and I'm gonna hear it in tweets, and I'm gonna be politically correct. I like a lot of different kind of things.
Great.
All that matters is what's on the inside.
Great Miss American answer.
What do you want me to say?
You know what? Let's just leave that there.
I'll text you the answer. And, all right, it'll be more private.
What type of music do you like?
It's a trip. I grew up on hip hop and rap and house, all that kind of shit. And then, as I've gotten older, I've gotten really into like a lot of classical music.
Nice.
Yeah. For me, why I love classical is because, let me start with this. I started listening to like rap when I was really young, and I wasn't really listening to the lyrics. You know, I like the beat, I like to move my body to it, and I really listened to lyrics. And as I got older, I started listening to lyrics. I'm like, oh my god, these fucking lyrics, like it's toxic. You know,
Yes.
this constant negative messaging like that does something to you, even if you're non-conscious of it. You know,
Definitely,
so
you're learning.
you're
Yeah.
learning, and it's affecting you. It's affecting your mind somehow. So once that started happening, I started listening to music that just didn't have lyrics, and I fell in love with classical probably about 9 years ago. And it's become just like this thing that I listen to every day now because like I already have a bunch of thoughts in my head, so it's kind of like just become background music for all the thoughts in my head.
I totally understand that. I do that all the time, especially now. I almost prefer music without vocals in it.
Yeah, same.
It's almost like a little soundtrack to my life. It's nice.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so I have another question. Do you ever watch your scenes after you film them?
I do.
You do.
Some people tell me don't do it, but I do. And I've gotten a lot better at this, but I used to count my takes, meaning so in a scene you see it's like a one shot, a single on me like this, and then they'll cut to a coverage of a two shot, or they cut to a coverage of a wide. And I used to count in my head. I was like, okay, that was the number five. Like, I used to just drive myself crazy with like overthinking my scenes. And
Are you a perfectionist?
oh, it's to the fucking fault.
I can't tell.
Oh man, it's so bad, and it drive me crazy. And little continuity things would drive me insane. Like, oh, my hair was like this on one take, and now it's like little shit like that really got on my nerves. So I've had to learn to like just enjoy the performance and not critique it. But to answer your question, I do watch my work. I watch it because I'm like, okay, I'll never do that again. Or,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. It's like
Yeah.
emotionally, because I imagine, you know, you watch your work and you wanna improve or see what you can improve from your performance. But is it emotionally difficult to watch it, afterwards? And
Or still, because like you're like, oh, I wish I would have done that different, or I wish I would have looked more calm, and like there's so many different reasons, and that's why a lot of actors tell you do not watch it, because once it's filmed, there's nothing you can do, right? You can't change it, but still you want to somehow learn from it. But still, it's an emotional fucking roller coaster. You drive yourself crazy. You can be like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. I knew I couldn't do that. So it's bad. It's bad. So
yes.
bad.
So, did you ever thought, all those years back when you were, living in LA, just a regular guy, did you ever thought that you were gonna end up here?
No, I've gotten asked like something kind of similar, and I had always envisioned, like as a child, I'd always had dreams that I was talking to a bunch of people, and for some reason I thought I was going to be in sports, like I would be on TV talking to a bunch of people. But so I had always envisioned that. I always knew like a lot of people would be listening to me at one time. I didn't know in what way. I didn't know. I just knew that would happen. And it's a trip because now fucking millions of people in their homes are watching me or listening to me, and it's what I had envisioned. It's not exactly what I envisioned, but it is what I envisioned. So to answer your question, like, I don't know. I didn't know how I was going to get to this point, but I knew eventually I would be talking to a bunch of people. But no, I didn't know it was in TV. Never thought I would be an actor. Nobody nobody knows anything about that. But I didn't think I was going to be famous. I didn't think of any of that. So, it's still like I still get a little uncomfortable with it sometimes. But yeah.
You should feel really proud of yourself, Clayton. I feel like, especially being a Latino actor, inspires so many people, that have that dream and trying to get there. And there is really not a lot of role models out there for people like us.
It means a lot to me when I do see little kids come up and they're just happy somebody on TV looks like them. you know.
Yes.
That's like
Yes.
that's that encourages them to do things. And you know, even like friends like my age, they want to act now, you know. It's
Yeah, they
so
feel
funny.
inspired by you.
They're so fucking funny though. Let me tell you, I'll be at a bar.
Really? Tell me.
This is the other edge of the sword, right? It's great to inspire people.
Yeah.
Love it, by the way. But there's also another end to it. You know, so I'll be at a barber shop and you know, I'll be getting my fade in there, and then I'll have some guy come up to me. He's like, "Hey, bro, can you get me on the show?" And
just like that.
He's like that, right? He's like, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I got tattoos." He's like, "I got tattoos like you." He's like, "Look, we got the same haircut. Like, I got a Harley." And I'm like, "All right." I was like, "Can you act?" And he's this has happened multiple times. They'll be like, "Oh, acting is the easy part." I'm like, "Wait, what? Acting is the easy part? You guys are fucking insane, dude." But the fact that they even think it's possible, I mean, that's a win. But it's also idiotic for them to think that just because they look like me, you know, that they'll just be on TV all of a sudden. That's insane. It's ludicrous.
That's insane, exactly.
That's insane.
But definitely, I think it's super important that the representation of the Latino culture is growing in Hollywood. How do you think Hollywood could improve that? You know, the representation of Latino culture and yeah, just being more inclusive.
That's a good question. I think that the executives, the people that, you know, make the money decisions for these type of shows, they have to empower Latino voices to help them form these type of decisions, or even just have Latinos in the room.
Yes.
You know, there's, you know, I think Hollywood has tried to do Latino stories before. Some have been successful, a lot have not, and it's because they're trying to tell the story through a white man's lens.
Yes.
And you know, that can only work for so long, right? And then it becomes inauthentic. So to answer your question, I feel like more of our not just the actors, the people writing this stuff, the people creating these shows, they have to be Latino.
Yes.
They have to be informed somewhere of our culture and our community. And once we empower those people, you know, I think it starts to trickle down. So then again, so it's, you know, it's not just people being empowered. It's we have to be better too.
And how do you think we can get better at acting, at creating, at being creatives, and you know, occupying that space of you know, whether it is in Hollywood, whether it is in music, or whether it is in, you know, painting or whatever else, you know, how do you think we can get there as a race?
I think collectively we just have to keep trying more. I think like especially our community is like, we feel like there's only, you know, there's a few good actors, and you know, leave that to them to do it. Like, no, if you want to try acting, try it. And even if you fail the first writing, but that doesn't mean stop. I mean, keep going.
Just do.
Just do it. And it's like we have to keep inviting these people to do it. I think acting and art for Latino community is still stigmatized.
Yes.
I remember being young and like I was into art, and they thought I was gay because I was into art. I'm like, what? That's weird. What do you, I mean?
That's so wrong.
I like art, you know. And so like hearing that in our community, it's like you're already taught like this is not a cool thing to do. So I think it's, you know, continuously telling people to keep trying, and for the already established Latino artists to make it to emphasize that for me to emphasize that it is cool to do this. Like you can get a lot of things that you want by doing this. So I think it's more emphasizing that art is accepted, and like you just said earlier, like keep doing it. You have to keep trying. You have to keep you know. Again, the first time you don't succeed doesn't mean it's a failure, right? So keep trying. I think that is the most important thing. Honestly.
So I watched the spoken word that you have. I am.
Oh wow!
That you did. I watched that spoken word. Tell me the inspiration behind that.
That was kind of like just my life story, and that was the first thing I've ever done. Like that was the first thing I ever did. Before I was acting, I got into spoken word. Like spoken word. That's how I was discovered. Actually, I was at this place. What's it called? It's called the Poetry Lounge, DA Poetry Lounge, and it's at Fairfax High. And they have a spoken word that it used to be once a week, and you get up there. I don't know so at this Poetry Lounge, it's the biggest one on the West Coast essentially, and there's a big theater, all the audience packed in the theater, then there's a stage, and because there's so many people, there's people sitting on the stage, and it's very intimidating. So you get up and you're about to do your spoken word in front of a mic, and you have people just fucking sitting right in front of you, staring at you, just like, go ahead. And so I started like, really getting into my spoken word there. And one night there was an agent there, and the agent pulled me aside after I was actually doing a piece of I Am. And she asked me, she's like, do you act? And I was like, I do. She's like, all right, I want you to come to the offices and whatnot. So I went to her office, and they signed me right away. And that's like
She was an agent.
She was an agent. And that's how I got started. But circling back, I Am was the first thing I've ever done.
Oh my God, Clayton! I have to tell you, I was so moved by that
Really?
piece.
Oh, well, thank you. That was
It was a beautiful piece, full of emotion. I mean, I felt it so real. So that's your real story.
That's my
your
real
life
story. That was my real story. That was I try to encapsulate like my full life into that point, and I try to put it in just to a box of like 8 minutes or whatnot or what it was. But yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed doing I Am. I was my first like introductory into like filming something. Honestly, the first time I've ever been filmed doing something. So yeah, that was a real important piece for me. I've written spoken words after that, but that piece, I think that was like a almost cathartic.
Yes. Yeah.
Piece, like a healing piece that needed to just be out. And it was a tough watch for some of my family members,
You're especially being Latino.
For sure. Yeah. They're like, oh, fucking, that's how you feel, huh? Okay. So,
Yes.
I
have the same thing with my mom. No worries.
Right? Oh my God,
Yes.
I can't imagine. Oh God, yeah.
You can tell her nothing.
Oh, for sure. No, nothing, right?
Nothing. No.
So that was tough. But no, thank you. That really like got me going. That really like started it for me. Started the whole expression.
Clayton, tell me a secret.
I have to be politically correct.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be an astronaut. Is that weird?
No, that's so cute.
So let me tell you something. So they were, I don't know if you remember this. So about like 4 or 5 years ago, they were talking about they're taking a trip to Mars. And about like creating life on Mars. And so they were literally asking for people from each heads of industry, agriculture, construction, and they were going to fly these people up there. I think they still are.
Yeah, I think they still are too.
Still are, and they're going to go start creating a life for people to come move up there eventually.
Yes.
And I remember on the website they were asking for artists. And I remember like you had to go down, you had to read this whole contract.
So you applied, and you got selected.
Not only did I apply, I wrote a fucking essay telling them why they need me, like why I'd be the best artist up there. And I just remember there was these questions that were like, are you not close to your family? Check yes. Like they wanted all these people that weren't attached to anything here on Earth. So they were making sure. So there's like, the most random questions. Do you love your brother? Do you love your sister? Do you love your mother? Do you have any outstanding bills? Like there's all kinds of questions.
Wow.
And yeah, but that always tripped me out. Like they want artists. That means art.
It's important.
It's integral to humanity.
Yes.
It's important to humanity.
Yes.
Like, but fucking we're taking it out of our schools here in the United States, but fucking Mars wants art, so what the hell, man?
Yeah.
You know, I remember that being a big deal, and I remember thinking like, wow, art is fucking important. Art is essential for fucking humanity.
Yes.
So I wrote my essay, but they didn't accept me. Damn it.
Wah, wah, wah. I'm sad.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. No, but I'm here now, so I got to do mines. So I guess it was
Exactly.
meant to be
You
here.
had to stay here.
Right.
You had to stay here. What is the funniest story you can remember on set, on the Mayan set?
Oh my God, there's so many.
I bet.
Lupe, I have to like think back. We have a lot of pranks, and there's a lot of like scaring. So there's a lot of like
Scaring. So
like
that is who loves to do that, to play pranks on people and scare them. His
name is Vincent Rocco Vargas, and he plays the character Gilly. And maybe it's because he doesn't have to talk a lot on the show, so he's always doing pranks and shit. But I remember he was hiding inside my trailer one time, and I had a full plate of food, and I just remember walking in, and he screams, and I throw it, and I'm so fucking scared. And it's on camera. Someone has it on camera somewhere. And the food goes everywhere, and I'm so embarrassed. And he's got the camera right in my face, and it was on live, and like he's embarrassed the shit out of me. And then it was more of a mean joke. But he was always doing shit like that. Always doing shit like that. Oh my God.
It's almost like going back to high school, like having all these like cast members.
These are 40-year-old children I'm dealing with all the time.
Yes.
Oh.
What is the best thing about being on set?
For me, I didn't grow up with like a lot of siblings, so I get to be around guys like me 12, 14 hours a day, and it's fun. It's so we've gotten to the point where we're literally like family. And, you start hanging out with these guys so much, you know them better than your own family, quite honestly. So I think like just hanging out with the guys and the constant pranks and then at the same time, you get to act with these people, and these are very talented people. So
yes, and create with them and like push yourself. Yeah,
and it's exciting and it's fun and it's emotional and it's just it's familial and there's just so many emotions that get to go through the day that by the time you end your day with all these guys, you're drained. You're exhausted, but you're satisfied. You're proud. All these different emotions, but that's by far got to be the best part.
I can imagine to be.
And we hang out with each other all the time.
You guys do in real life.
All the time. Two of my best friends are on Mayans, so it's an amazing time for me.
What was challenging in 2020? I feel like 2020 was a crazy year for everybody. So what was like life challenging or life changing for you in 2020?
I think there was some financial instability. It's we thought we were gonna work at a certain time, and then we find out you're not gonna work.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of fear there, and I really had to be conscious of, how am I spending this money? Where are my funds going to? And also, the biggest challenging part, though, also besides financial stuff, was making sure that I was staying healthy.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people use that as an excuse to
be a couch potato.
Honestly, and to gain weight and just be unhealthy and eat whatever they wanted, and not to say that wasn't okay, but to totally change your lifestyle like that, I felt that was completely unhealthy. And I saw myself doing it for like a week, and I was like, oh no, I have to stay focused, and because I knew my contemporaries and I knew my competition would be relaxing, and I wanted to have a leg up. I wanted to be all right. I know these guys aren't going to be working as hard as me, so the challenge is to consistently stay focused. The biggest thing in 2020, I realized that if I physically changing my body, really weirdly opened a lot of doors for me.
Really? Like what type?
Opportunities, work opportunities. It allowed me to expose myself in more scenes on screen, and that allowed. I think that helps with our show, especially our kind of show. It's about the physicality. It's about the men and whatnot. So I think it allowed more time of that. So that was that. I learned that if I take care of my body, it will take care of my life. Honestly.
Do you like to play the hero or the villain?
Oh, I love playing the villain. Everybody's a hero, you know?
Yeah, heroes are overrated.
They're overrated and they're clean cut and they're unrealistic. I think
they're unrealistic, yeah.
Yeah, I think the anti-hero is always the flawed. I've always been attracted to like the flawed characters and the characters that have a past and that are,
they're just so much more interesting.
Yeah, it's sexy. I think it's sexy.
It's sexy.
I think it's sexy. I think that's sexy.
No, me too. I think it's sexy.
Right?
Yeah, super sexy. So what is next for Clayton Cardenas?
I have I can't really say a lot about it, but I have this project coming up that I'm really proud of, and I'm also on the producing end of it. And it's this play that's being adapted into a film. So hopefully we get that going in June. Can
you give me any hints?
It's about these two characters and how they spend time alone. One is forced. One of the characters is forced in being alone. The other character chooses to be alone, and it's these two stories about that. And then in the end, we find them connecting.
And I love the fact that it's really like a very introspective story.
For sure. And it's and it's like we choose. It's just a story. Also, like we choose our reality. We choose what happens to us, regardless if we feel circumstances are the causes of these things. It's our thoughts. It's how we choose to perceive things, how we choose to go about things like that. I'm mad excited about it, by the way. It's like it's been a dream project of mine. I've been trying to get this going for 3 years now, and it's finally come to fruition. So
this type of projects, like acting, movies, it takes a very long time, right? The preparation of it.
For sure, and it's for a variety of different reasons. You want to get the right actors and the right writers and the directors and producers. Then you have to get funding, and then you have to make sure everybody's schedule is on par with each other so they can cohesively work together. And then you have to agree on the work. You have to agree that this writing is correct. There's so many different factors, and a lot of the audiences that watch movies, they just see the end product, right? They get to see this awesome film, this awesome TV show, and they don't know anything about the groundwork before. So when you see a film or TV, it's like there was a lot of work put behind that. There was a lot of like brainstorming and a lot of meetings for this show or
and
film
it takes years and years, and people don't realize how.
There's been some of our favorite films, like there's some films that have taken 10 years to get put together. That show Queen's Gambit was 10 years in the making.
What?
Queen's Gambit, yeah. Heath Ledger was originally supposed to direct that, and and look where we're at now with it.
That is crazy. So where can people find you, Clayton?
You can find me on Instagram at Clayton Cardenas or Twitter, Cardenas Clayton. Either or, I'm on there. I'm pretty vocal about like what I'm doing throughout the day, and I try to give people an insight of like how I'm doing things. So, and if you don't find me on there, you can probably find me at a gym in LA right now. Honestly,
yay!
That's all I do.
And what days and in what network can we watch Mayans?
We watch Mayans on FX networks Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Western time or Pacific Coast, and 7 p.m. East Coast time. And also, if you don't have FX, you could watch it the next day on Hulu, streaming all day long.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here and for being who you are, and I appreciate you, and thank you.